is up? ROC Podcast Nation, welcome back to another episode of the fastest growing conservative podcast in the United States, especially, that's right, ROC Podcast, baby. Hitting it hard from the Mid-Atlantic, coming to you from ROC HQ here in Southern Maryland. Guys, we're glad to be back. And for those of you watching on the streams here, this is just a new thing that Ryan and I are trying to do. We're just, we're pushing it back in. We're coming through, we got this app. It's called StreamYard. We're still learning it. As you can see, there's a lot of banners and a lot of other crazy stuff here that we're trying to figure out. But as promised last week, for you guys that were watching on the Facebook Live last week, this is going to be a regular occurrence. We're going to try to go live. What time is it, Ryan? I think we're shooting for 6 o'clock. So yeah, every Thursday at about 6 o'clock, stand by that we will be going live. So, we've got some functionality here, some things that we're going to be able to do. This isn't going to be the common background, I guess you will. And for those of you guys who already know what the podcast is, you know what this is. It's Ryan and I, we get together every week and we talk about emerging issues. We bring the voice of the right of center to the people. Our reach is growing. We launched on February 4th. So we're now March, April, May. Shit, we're 3 months in, man. We've been kicking it. So, anyways, I'm Mike Bell. You find me at Real Mike Bell, and the co-host over here,
Ryan R. Guest. You can find me at Ryan R. Guest.
That's right. That's right, guys. So for our loyal listeners, our loyal YouTube subscribers, and all you guys, thank you guys for coming back and joining us here on the live stream. And for those of you who don't know who we are, now you do. We do have a Facebook page. You can go find us at ROC Podcast Nation and everything there. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We've got a website. We're on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Alexa. We're on everything. You can find us everywhere, guys. We are taking over. And this is just one more method for us to deliver the content to the masses. So with that being said, today's kind of been an interesting week in news, Ryan. And one of the things that Joe Biden did after, I guess, his State of the State address, it really wasn't even State of the State. It wasn't State of the Union. It wasn't anything like that. It was Joe Biden speaking in front of the both houses of Congress. And Ryan and I kicked around the idea tonight about what episode to talk about on the live stream. And we've kicked it around a bit. And I think just on virtue of what we have set up right now, it's going to be Biden in the green screen. And then after that, you guys that are, know how the show goes, there'll be another episode coming out pretty soon about the sign that was in Calvert County. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, Joe Biden went on this. He went out. He did essentially it's kind of like a State of the Union, but it wasn't. It was him talking to both houses of Congress. It was a shit show. He talked about his infrastructure plan, which was really a joke. It's another way to funnel more money to the cronies that supported him and built him up. And for those of you guys watching this on the Right of Center Conservative America, you've seen the post I put on there about how, Ryan, it's been a couple months ago, man, we did the episode about the Keystone XL pipeline. Right. And there was a money trail there that we uncovered, and we spoke about it quite a bit on the podcast. And essentially what it was, one of Biden's first moves when he came into office was to whack the XL pipeline. And the reason for that, what we discovered was follow the money, right? You always follow the money, and smoke always follows fire. And what we determined, and it wasn't hard to uncover once you start looking, was Warren Buffett, or for that matter, Berkshire Hathaway, had major holdings in a rail line that has been for, a decade or two now, moving sand pit oil, tar pit oil from Canada down to the Gulf of Mexico. And it's a multi-billion-dollar a year business margin for him, for the stakeholders of Berkshire Hathaway. Now, if that Keystone pipeline, the Keystone XL pipeline, had been completed, what would have happened was a lot of that oil would have been funneled through the pipeline, and it wouldn't have made it on those trains. A portion of it would have. So we went back and we started looking, and Warren Buffett or Berkshire Hathaway have been major donors to Joe Biden in the Democratic National Party. All right. So it makes sense that the cronies funnel money into the politicians and the politicians get into office and they make things happen. It's common sense. But during the state of the, I keep calling it state of the state, but it wasn't, right? It was him and his speech in front of Congress. It was a whole lot of jibber jabber is what it was. But the next day or the second day after that, what he did was he kind of dispersed all of his cabinet members, right? He sent Kamala out someplace. He sent the, you know what the term is that I heard recently, Ryan, that is like blowing my mind, dude?
What's that?
The second gentleman. Because you always had like the first lady and then the second lady.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But now that we have a female vice president, which, more power to her, more power to the most qualified person having the job. And in this situation, maybe, or maybe it wasn't, right? That's debatable. But now how would you like to be the second gentleman, Ryan? It just goes again. I mean, hey, more power to you. It really is more power to you.
It's
But
kind of like got dependent, I know guys that when we got out and stuff, they got out maybe, but their wives they married another active duty that they stayed in, and they I know a few people that kind of rocked that where like the woman's in the military, they're the breadwinner now, and the husband got out and now he's doing college, doing whatever, and he's living the life of a dependent. It's kind of flipped a little bit.
Yeah.
And, it's gotta be. I'm sure it's gotta be different.
So what was it? So what did Nancy Reagan try to fix, right? She went into the schools and tried to do
drugs.
DARE, right? Yeah. She was the big DARE girl.
Just say no.
And then I don't remember what Linda Bush did or even what the first Bush's wife did. I don't remember, but I remember Obama's wife, Michelle, was huge on the school meal program and like getting into schools and stuff like that. And then Melania Trump, like what was she known for?
Anti-bullying, right? Or something.
Yep. And then now all of those first ladies and second ladies and all this other stuff that had stuff going on. Like, I don't know what Joe Biden's going to do, but I want to know what the second gentleman is going to be, like what his push is, right? But anyways, I'm digressing a bit. So after the speech in front of the joint session of Congress, the president kind of dispersed his flock, right? Everybody kind of went their own way. And Joe Biden went on this tour to really push the infrastructure bill. Now, the infrastructure bill is being sold as approximately $2 trillion that's going to be funneled back into the economy by way of modernizing certain aspects of the infrastructure. And when I say infrastructure, it's your roadways, your railways, private or publicly owned airports, and nowadays internet is also considered infrastructure. So, putting fiber across the country and different stuff like that. And sure, Ryan, I think that you and me and most people listening to this right now would say, yes, there's a lot of streets with potholes. You know what I mean? There's a lot of railroad tracks where, there used to be a good rail industry that's kind of just gone away by means of, the semi truckers and stuff like that. And there's a need for that. I mean, shit, we live right outside the nation's capital, and I can't walk outside my door and I just drop cell phone calls all the time. Like, is cell phone, like 5G towers or 4G towers, is that part of the infrastructure bill? Maybe. It should be, right? But that's not where those $2 million or $2 trillion are going to go. They're going to go to incentivize people like Warren Buffett. So why I'm talking about this, why I'm still talking about Warren Buffett and the XL pipeline is this. A large portion of the infrastructure bill is going to go back into improving railways. All right. Joe Biden went and on the 50th anniversary of Amtrak went and did this big spill, had the Amtrak thing in the background, and was talking about how we're going to reinvest in rail. You know what I mean? And he
was there when they initially invested into it 50
right.
years ago.
That's what I was saying. The Amtrak has been around as long as Joe Biden has been in office.
Yeah.
But what I was, the way that the spin, right? You got to look at the spin, guys. You got to pull away for a minute, and you got to look at what the spin really is. And what the spin is this. Joe Biden is going to pump probably hundreds of millions of dollars into the rail system so that he can scratch the back of the people that scratched his back to get him into office, right? I posted a picture in the Facebook group there of President Barack Obama hanging I think it was Medal of Freedom. It was one of those medals that are given to civilians, and he was hanging it from Warren Buffett's neck, right? And now Warren Buffett, who is a large stakeholder in Berkshire Hathaway, who has a large stake in the train system. President Biden is now investing, in the rail industry. President Biden is now investing hundreds of millions of dollars into that same rail industry. Follow the money, man. Smoke
Follow the
chases
money.
fire.
That's all it is.
But after that, I was like, okay, now I'm back on Biden for a little bit, right? I started kind of twiddling my thumbs and thinking, there's more. Something's going on here. People are spinning the president. People are posturing him. And we've speculated, and we wrote a blog article. We also talked about this on another episode, like, where's Biden hiding, right? He only comes out and he only does this green screen. It seems like, to me, like everything's green screened. You know, even in the address to the, the two houses of Congress, he had the teleprompters like everybody does.
Yeah.
Right. But anything like I've watched, he went live today to talk about I don't remember what it was, but he went live today to talk about something. He was in and out. It was like a minute, 30 seconds. He's in, he like talked real quick and then he got out. And I wonder if his handlers are telling him like, don't talk too much. Don't take questions because you're going to stumble over yourself. But there was a lot of pressure whenever we released Where's Biden Hiding. That's not a novel idea to the right of center. A lot of people were asking that question. So then you started to see President Biden come out real quick for like these little real quick pressers. He would come out and he would like shake the hand real quick and then he would run away. And then it wasn't until almost, I think it was his 65th day in office, that he came out and actually had a real press conference that wasn't even a real press conference. And I've actually got some sound bites about some of the stuff that he said there that maybe we could get to. Actually, which one do we have on board today? This one was a funny one. This was his, to get something done, right? This is what, during his first national presser to the people of the United States on the State of the Union after, over 2 months of being in office, he was really talking passionate about something. He said this, guys. So hear what your president said. What do you say here?
So the best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway.
Yeah, that's your president, right? So that is what a majority of his pressers are like. So I think that they're trying to keep it down low. They don't want him out there actually really speaking because he's going to trip over himself.
Yeah, it's smart on their part.
It really is. But I and other people are suspecting that the media and his handlers are putting him in positions to take like photo ops and to act like he's talking to people, kind of green screening. And that's why the title of this episode is Biden and the Green Screen. Because I think that there's some shenanigans here and I can't prove it, but there's some smart people out there that have looked into it. And, one of the most recent things here that we saw, actually, let me see if I could pull it up on the screen here for you guys. Just give me a minute. Beep boop. Where's it at, Ryan? So, okay, so it's not that. Let me go back to this. Again, growing pains here.
New
growing
to the StreamYard stuff, so.
So let me stop sharing that.
Thank you all for growing with us.
Yep. Thank you guys for growing with us. Ryan, why don't you fill for a minute while I try to pull this up, bub?
Yeah, so, one of the things he's going to show, I'm not sure what he's going to show first, but one of the things he's going to show is a picture with Joe Biden alongside of, former president, or whatever you want to call him, Carter, and then his wife is side by side with Joe. And like I told Mike, based on what I'm seeing, I think it looks like Jill was actually there with President Carter, but Joe just looks so out of place. I can't, I would say it's Photoshop. In my opinion, I can't say for certain.
There we go.
But honestly, like I was telling Mike earlier, even if it's not Photoshopped, they shouldn't have posted it because they should have these pictures vetted. Does this look wrong in any way? Does it look Photoshop? They should be able to vet these things before they post them out. And I don't think they did because that looks fake as shit.
All right. So those of you guys watching on the stream, you'll be able to see this. Those of you guys watching this later on YouTube, you'll be able to kind of walk through it. We'll put the picture up there. You'll just have to follow the conversation here. But so I'm looking at this now, and it looks like, and just so you guys know, former President Carter is 5'10" and his wife is 5'6". Old Jimmy Carter, right? Now, based on that information, one would possibly think that Joe Biden in this picture is about 7 foot tall. He's at least Shaq tall.
Is he a tall guy?
I think most presidents are 6 foot tall or better. You could Google that real quick and check it out. But, Jill Biden certainly isn't taller than 5'10". Jill isn't. and she's making Jimmy Carter look like he's a freaking, you know, when we first showed this. So we have, those of you guys who know us and have been around the show for a little bit.
Real quick, he's 6 foot even.
So, okay. So he's 6 foot even. He's a normal sized guy. We have a videographer that does a lot of stuff for us. Some of you guys that have been around for a minute have possibly even met our video guy, Che. But I showed him this and he's like, whoa, who made that? Like, that was his question. That was his ask. Like, who made that? Like, he thought that it was a spam photo because of how wrong it looked.
We hadn't even discussed it yet.
No.
That was his first reaction. Was just, oh, who made that?
Yeah, and he's been in the industry. This is what he does for a living, guys.
He's a professional photographer.
He's a
videographer.
Yes, exactly. So I started looking at it, and I don't know if you guys on the stream can kind of see my mouse arrow here, but if you follow the plane of this chair right here, you kind of follow that and it lines with Joe Biden's knee, and then you go up to his chest. So assuming that Joe Biden is essentially sitting in front of this chair, that might make it look like he's a little bit taller than the former first lady here. But I'll be damned if this doesn't look photoshopped, man. And then you look at Joe Biden and even she looks like she's towering over Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
You know, almost as if she would be like standing up or something. Like, I just don't get it, man. This picture looks wonky as hell to me, man.
I will say, like I said, like I think that she looks like she might have actually been with him. You know, the way that her arm is interacting with the chair, or appears to be, the way her other hand appears to be interacting with his hand, it looks like they were actually together. Now, like I said earlier, this could be 3 different photos. It could be they were photographed together. She got photographed some point in the last year, and they just said, "Hey, Joe, go ahead and take a knee real quick. Let's get a quick photo in front of the green screen." Okay, and let's go ahead and plug that in.
Yeah,
like, that's what it looks like.
I think that this is certainly chopped and screwed a little bit.
She doesn't look like she's sitting in that chair.
No, it looks
She does.
crazy. It looks crazy.
Look at her hands on the freaking armrest.
No, I know. It looks crazy,
They're
man.
like pterodactyl hands.
It definitely
Pterodactyl hands.
Pterodactyl.
Dude, if somebody's watching this, if they can, if you're good with Photoshop, Photoshop me over here with Mr. Jimmy Carter and Photoshop Mike Bell over there with Mrs. Carter.
Yeah.
And see if you can make a better Photoshop than what the White House staff did. That'd be funny.
Yeah, that's crazy. But guys, that would be it. Like, if that was it, if that was like the only kind of real big thing that happened, like, I could probably be like, all right, I get it. You know, man, it's some trick lighting. It could be a wide angle lens. Maybe got the GoPro, so it kind of blows things out, fish eyes a little bit. Things are bigger on the outside, but that's not really it. And this hit me, and the only reason I'm talking about it is because this came after something else that we had seen, Ryan.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to jump into a different.
The other thing is guaranteed. Like, I can't say, you know, guarantee that this is not Photoshop, but it definitely looks like it. The other shit that you're about to show, I'm sure, I think I know you're about to show, that definitely was Photoshop.
Yeah, give me 1 second here to make sure I have it pulled up on the right screen.
And it honestly wasn't even good. Like, this is questionable. I wouldn't say it's good or even like horrible, but it's definitely questionable. Like, it gets people talking. The other one is just like nobody denies that was fake as shit. And
yeah, I'm going to pull that up on the other screen here, and we'll get that one ready to go, guys. Now, keep in mind that, again, those of you guys listening to this just in the podcast form, come on over there to the video, Rock Podcast Nation on YouTube, and you'll be able to see this stuff. It won't be a problem. And for those of you guys live, make sure you're hitting share. Let people know, because this is new. This is our first time really hitting with this. So make sure you let us get there. Anyhow,
for those that are watching on the StreamYard and whatnot, and Facebook and whatnot, Mikey's about to bring it up on the screen so you can see big. But what he's about to show is more or less Biden's walking up to a camera, long story short, and some fake microphone boomsticks and whatnot show up in the image. And they should be more or less between him and the camera, but his hands end up in front of the mic somehow. It's totally off, and you'll be able to see. Let's go and watch.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and watch it. So on this, this video is courtesy of, I don't want to get sued here. So this video is courtesy of, it's
USA
actually
Today.
on USA Today. So let's go ahead and blow this up, guys. You just skip ahead here right about to 58 seconds and hit the play button here. So we're going to cut to the audio and the video. You'll be able to see this.
Order, sir.
So watch that boom right there. See that giant boom in front of his hand? All right, let me back up a little bit. Let me back up a little bit here. All right, so again, make sure you're watching. There's this big, there's a microphone that comes in, and there's a big windscreen over the top of the microphone. Pay attention to Joe Biden's right hand when it comes across this. It's going to blow your guys', it's going to blow your mind. Watch this again.
Not at the
Watch
moment.
that. Watch that. How did that get behind his hand?
talks with other
Watch it.
countries? Is it allies or neighbors first? Who will be the first country?
Look at it. You can see the fuzz around it and everything.
They're talking with several countries already. Well, I'll let you know that very
Look at that. Now it's in front of his head. See how it follows him? See how it cuts on top of all the other microphones? Isn't that some crap? No, it's here. Let me see. No, they weren't even trying. Let me see if I could back it up a little bit. Here we go. See where we're at. Maybe I went too far. Yeah, let me jump ahead here a little bit, guys. Whoa, whoa. Here we go. Watch that
Not at
boom.
the moment.
And hold on a second. You guys will see right there that the mic, that the producer, whoever is chopping and screwing this thing, actually skipped. All right. Pay attention to the camera. It goes from one camera view where that boom isn't in the camera to a different camera view where the boom is in the camera. So let me back up a few seconds here. All right. See how we're coming from this view here, Ryan? Check that out. We're coming from right here. All we see is this head. So they're making us think. But if you look around the top of this brown hair, if you look around the top of that brown hair, you can see it's fuzzed, right? It kind of blends into the background here, right? And that's common green screen stuff, all right? So watch though, the camera view is going to bounce over real quick. You're not going to see people. All you're going to see are these booms, the mic booms, okay? So watch the camera jump right here.
Sir,
Boom. See
Not
that?
at the moment.
And then watch that mic boom. See, they got it wrong. They missed it.
Not at the
Boom.
moment.
See, where'd that thing come from? Where'd that thing come from?
That, and based on the scale of his hand in front of it, that boom would have to be freaking like half foot wide and 2 feet long.
Yep. Let me back up one more time here. We'll run it. I'm going to see if I can get it like perfect timing here and hit the pause button.
Travel to the southern border, sir.
See? Right there. Like, how is it behind his hand there?
Not at the moment.
Like, that's ridiculous. Like, how is that even possible? I don't even get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. So anyhow, this is another thing. This is another example of like, you know, what's even happening there. I don't even get it.
Like, even like this is our first time using StreamYard, and we were making the little border underneath and stuff that says certain things. If you want to go back to the, like, it's our first time using this, and we had a border. We had the border down there. It says, you know, sponsored by ptbgun.com and this and that. And Mikey made it. I reviewed it. We had a third set of eyes. We had Che, the video guy. He looked over it and stuff. I felt like there was more checks and balances and more, you know, attention to quality for what we're doing in this podcast and this live stream than what they did in trying to put out this video.
Yeah.
Like, how they, like, you should have one person editing and 3 to 4 eyes reviewing it and looking for any flaws or anything. Seriously, you should look at this with a critical eye if you're putting out this type of, you know, content.
Yeah.
But I feel like they just kind of threw it together and said, fuck it, those retards will pick it up on it. You know what I'm saying? It's
Oh, also, guys, make sure you call out Ryan if he's dropping the F-bombs, because we are trying to stay
Have I
public.
said?
You just did right now, and then you even said the R word, which is kind of like,
I know.
you know, there's some people.
I don't mean
and,
that. I actually got caught out this past weekend.
Yeah.
I didn't mean.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail you there, but
Yeah.
we are switching to
I'm
PG, at
working.
least on the free
I'm
stuff.
working.
So
we don't want to get banned off of Facebook. We are streaming this to Facebook, and
Yeah.
Facebook's gonna. They've already deleted 4 of my profiles on Facebook.
Yeah.
I've been good this past month. They've only deleted 2.
So, and we've talked about it, guys, the social media stuff. There's other groups that we're active in for that Facebook social media censoring. And we're going to be talking about it here in the next episode, how Donald Trump just launched kind of his own thing. And it's crazy. It's called From the Desk, or From the Desk of Donald Trump, or something like that. And you go in there, and you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of like the 2 a.m. tweet that you generally see from Donald Trump. Like, it would pop up and there's no way to comment on it. All you can do is share it. So you can go to his page, find his little tweet, and then you could share it to Facebook or share it to whatever else. So he has the ability to do that, but it's pretty crazy.
By the way, I'm watching the live stream on my Ryan R. Gas page, and Lucas, I see your comment and whatnot. If anybody has any comments, hey, put them in the comments below, and if you have any questions or anything you want to bring up, we will address those as we see them. So appreciate everybody watching and commenting.
Yeah, I see this here. Somebody else said, and it's just Facebook users, I don't know who it is, but he said there is a reason that there are still armed guards and fences around Washington. I wonder what that is. I think maybe he's talking about the January 6th thing. And yeah, I mean, that was a tragedy. It really was. But we haven't really spoke about that because there were people that lost their lives during that event. It's still a sensitive thing. Ryan knows people directly that are implicated in some of that stuff, not from a criminal perspective, but some people that were experienced some harm and damages from that. So we try to steer away from that a little bit, but we saw it in another Facebook group, Ryan, the other day. I've told people that I patrol some of these other sites, and I get in there and I talk because at the end of the day, I'm right of center, but I'm not Republican, right? I find myself more conservative than liberal and more of a centrist than a progressive, you know? And so I do have friends. I do have some left-leaning values and stuff like that. And sometimes I got to get away from just the right, because it's always the same stuff, man. And I need to hear kind of some of the stuff from the other side of the aisle to make sure that I'm well-knowledged. And so I go over there, and the other day, this lady said something like, it's always bashing on Trump. It really is, you know, and that's fine. If you want to bash on Trump, more power to you. I'm not here to stop you. Trump did a lot of dumb stuff. I mean, he really was. He had some childish antics, the way that he kind of carried on with social media and stuff like that. You know, I mean, I really do think that if he would have done all the same policies that he did, but acted, if you want to call it that, a little bit more presidential, I think that he would have a lot fewer haters. But anyhow, I was over there in the Facebook group the other day, and this lady said, what happened on January 6th was worse than 9/11.
Idiots.
Yeah, idiots, exactly. And I said, how is that even possible? I said, how is that even possible? I said, you go ahead and tell me the thousands of people that died on January 6th. And nobody can answer that. But somebody did, you know, and then I started thinking about it, and she's like, this is the closest anyone has ever come to the seat of our democracy. Started talking shit like that. And you know what I said? I reminded them of the 1980s bombing in the Senate. And you know who portrayed that, was the purporters of that?
Was it Weather Underground?
It was a left-wing activist group called...
the Weather Underground, right?
No. Somebody...
They were doing some other bombings.
I can pull it up real quick, and then I'll share it on the screen real quick. It was a Senate bombing in I think it was 1986. 1983. Let me see if that's it real quick. It was done by... Give me 1 second, guys, to pull this up. I don't want to call it. It was called. It was an armed resistance unit. They set off the bomb. Anyhow, that's neither here nor there. You guys could find that as the 1983 bombing of the Capitol, and it was sketchy. This lady wants to say that January 6th was as bad as 9/11 because it was the closest anyone had ever come to uprooting the center of the nation's democracy. And I said, no. I said that was done in the 80s when they actually bombed the Senate building.
Right.
But anyhow, you know, we're not going to keep. Oh, it was Shore Billy. That's our guy that was talking about that. But where was I going with that? This is where I was going with that. All right. January 6th was a shit show. All right. It was kind of a call from my perspective, and we're not going to get into it a lot. That protest had been planned for weeks leading up to that event. And I think that we're actually going to do an episode about this very soon on the exclusive side, guys. And if you don't know what that is, go to rockpodcast.com, go to pledge your support. It's free for a week. And after that, it's only like $10 a month. So it's not even that much, and you can cancel anytime. But we're going to do a show about that over there because I really want to know. And again, we're digressing from the Biden and the green screen, but I want to know this. The sergeant at arms for the Capitol requested for the National Guard to be deployed there. It requested for additional Capitol Police to be deployed. Did all that stuff. The sergeant at arms did. Was denied. By who, Ryan?
By Nancy Pelosi.
By Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House.
It was calculated.
It was very, very, very calculated. There was some political calculus that went into that entire situation. They knew for weeks about this protest. Yeah. If you want to call it that, still the vote, save the vote, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. They knew for weeks about that. Okay. And the sergeant at arms of the Capitol building said, we see this coming. We need more protection. And it was denied. It was kind of like what happened.
Has she ever commented on why?
We'll get into that. We'll get into that on the exclusive show. Yeah. But it tastes a lot like Benghazi.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It tastes a lot. Smells like it. Yep. It smells a lot.
Yeah. Do you remember what they originally said about that and why that happened? Remember the guy with the YouTube channel? Posted a video, whatever. He more or less
enlighten me.
They tried saying that that was a protest that went violent, and it was a protest about a guy who posted something to YouTube that showed a version of Allah, whatever, Muhammad or whoever, and that's why they tried shifting the blame on that.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, but no, what the truth of the matter is that there were embassies in Benghazi that were surrounded, mortared with 31 millimeter shells all night, 4 or 6 guys up on a rooftop with small arms trying to defend the embassy.
Yep, never forget.
Countless civilians. And it was a shit show. And they requested help middle of the night. There were Blackhawks in proximity. They were turned down. All right. I've served, Ryan served. Some of you guys in the comments have served. You just don't turn your back on people. When help is needed, you get there as fast as you can. Even if it's just to clean up the mess, you deploy, you get out there. And help was denied. Yeah. And we'll get into this on the exclusive stuff, guys. So make sure you're signed up over there. It's like I said, it's free.
I know guys that were on the QRF that would have responded. They were ready to go over there as it's happening, and they never got the word.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But
this year be 10 years.
The situation in January that's the part that no one's talking about. Everyone wants to say that there was this big rebellion, that it was a still the vote type thing, right? That it was a protest against the Electoral College and the Senate confirming President Biden's confirmation, essentially. Right. But that's the story. But the truth, and this is something else. This brings up another point I want to talk about here a little bit, Ryan. If I asked you to tell me the difference between the truth and the facts, what would you say?
The truth is, everyone has their own truth. There's 3 sides to every story and stuff. The facts are the facts. You can't twist. You can twist the facts. The media does every day. But the facts and truth are not the same.
They're not the same.
They're not the same.
And yes, it's true that what happened on January 6th was a shit show. It really was. All right. It's true that I guess you could kind of squint your eyes and blur things a little bit and point some of the blame at Donald Trump. Sure, that's true. You could twist that up. But the facts are they knew about this. They knew about it for weeks.
It was a preventable situation.
And chose not to do something about it. And then they used that. So what did they do right after that, Ryan?
Blamed it.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to talk about this on exclusive stuff, guys.
Yeah.
What they did was they went immediately into impeachment.
Yep.
All right.
Second impeachment.
They did it on purpose. And we're going to talk about that on the exclusive side, guys. So make sure you're signed up over there. But where are we at, Ryan? We're at 33 minutes here, roughly. Yeah, the stuff with Biden, this is what I think is happening. I legitimately think that they have staged events, right? Where maybe even the crowd is staged. And they bring Biden out real quick. They make a quick soundbite. That soundbite is pumped through, MSNBC, CNBC, NBC, ABS, or ABC, all that, MBS, whatever. You know which news network I'm talking about. They pump that stuff out there. They get the soundbite for the week, and then they go back. And it's getting to a point now where even Jen Psaki, the press secretary, is like she's having to read from her notes to make sure that she's keeping all the stories straight. Like I remember watching at the beginning, she would be out there, a little, ball of fire, talking, engaging, battling with the news reporters and doing that general presser stuff that former press secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders and then Kelly McEnany were doing. And now we've got Jen Psaki, and she started off strong, but I seriously don't think she'll be able to last 4 years, dude. They've got her so spun up.
No, and those people never do. So it's not, honestly, I don't expect her. I don't think anybody left or right expects her to last that long. I mean, what do they usually last? A year at the most?
Well, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, there was only 2 for Trump, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and then
no, there was a couple.
Kelly McEnany.
No, there was 2 males at least. There's at least 1 male. He was actually a reserve lieutenant in the Navy.
Really?
While he was doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up. Yeah.
But I think, seriously, I think that there are these staged kind of pressers, right? We're like that video we just showed, guys. I truly think that was staged. I think President Biden walking across the elliptical the other day and picking a dandelion and giving it to Joe Biden, I think that was staged. I think all of this stuff's staged. And I don't know why. I have some suspicions. I don't know why, but I'd like to keep an eye on that. So Anyhow, what do you got on that, Ryan? You got anything for me?
So real quick, I found it. He had Josh. Sean Spicer, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Stephanie Grissom, and Kelly McEnany during the Trump presidency. That was his 4.
It was 4
pressers. So, but no, I mean, do we want to touch on the Calvert County sign or no? We want to leave that for another day.
Let's get into it. Why not? Yeah, this was pretty hot. So we stirred up a little bit of buzz about this. This was I'll let Ryan kick off on that while I pull up the picture and show you guys on the background. Okay.
So many people that follow us and listen to our podcast may or may not be in Southern Maryland. We're based out of here in St. Mary's County, but in the next county over, Calvert County, there's a gentleman that owns a billboard, and he's posted different billboards over the months and years that have always gotten the left all stirred up in their panties in a bunch. And his most recent one, which we got on the screen here, that Mikey's going to be showing us here. It says, "Don't blame Trump. You're stuck with these 2 shitheads. From all your deplorables in Calvert County," and it is what it is. He's a shit stir.
He is, and this isn't the first time he's put a banner up like that.
Oh no! If you can pull up some other examples of billboards he's posted here, if you can. But like while he's doing that, I'm going to discuss this one. But it's got just like always, he gets people up in a stir, and people are always, oh, we need to, I've seen people post different things like, oh, we need to go burn down that billboard, or we need to tear it down, or this is so deplorable, which plays into his hand that he posts, because he always says from all your deplorables in Calvert County. So I mean, it's maybe not the most tasteful. Sometimes one of the things he posts is not the most tasteful, but it's his freedom of speech. And while I maybe don't always endorse the message or the images that he posts on there, that's his freedom of speech, and I support it. You don't have to support the words and support the the images to support the action. I support his action. I just support his freedom to choose to do that and his ability to do that. But there's so many people out there, like the Democratic Party of Calvert County has called for it to be torn down and all this other shit, and people like in the comments on my page I posted about it, and what's some of the comments? Let's see. This is one of the left that's got her panties in a bunch. Gail says, she commented on my picture that I posted. She said, "If you keep supporting Trump and all the do nothing Republicans in your country, it's just going to keep on going downhill for years to come. It's pretty hard to make things better with Mitch McConnell says his whole purpose is to block anything and everything but Biden tries to do to build the United States."
That's crazy.
Isn't that what the left and the media did for the last 4 years?
Exactly what it is.
If it wasn't, like Chris Plant always says, if it wasn't for double standards, the left had no standards at all.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You got some other examples or no?
Oh, I do. Yeah, absolutely. Let me see if I can get some of them pulled up. Let me make sure I'm sharing the right stuff here. Let me pull this.
While he's pulling that up, I'm going to read some more comments. Sandy says, private property, First Amendment, nothing to discuss. Exactly. Honestly, if it was the other way around, if it was like something demeaning and disrespectful to Republicans and stuff, I wouldn't even give it any attention because you're just feeding into it. You're giving, this guy's got national exposure over these signs. It says, what does it say? It says, don't worry about the children it says, don't worry about the children at the border suffering, but you murder American children every day by abortion.
Yep, that's another one.
That's the same. This is the same location, same billboard, same guy that owns the place. Yeah,
it's freedom of speech.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's your First Amendment right there.
Yep, exactly.
There was for our listeners out in Arizona, down in Graham County, which are a few. There's a guy that, as you're coming into town, has a big Confederate flag flying. Now, if you want to keep, if that's your prerogative to fly the Confederate flag, go ahead and do it. Right? It's on private property. Yep. It is your right. And what people are saying is, and now hear this side of the argument, okay? Free speech it's tangible, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like there are some things you can say. You can't scream, fire in a movie theater. You know what I mean? Yeah. Stuff like that. But you gotta, at the same time, you kind of gotta protect the kids. Yeah. And I am concerned. I'm always concerned when there's something is visible, not necessarily this Rock Podcast Nation, not necessarily this sign right here, but if there was something out there that was indecent, I'd be like, come on. And if that sign in Calvert County said shitheads or something like that, like I know kids are seeing worse than that now, but there's some kids that haven't, and they might repeat that, or they might say that in school or something like that. And you never know what's going to happen. So proceed with caution is my point. There's another one I saw, Ryan, which is this one. Let's see if I can get that one opened up. So this is one that said, you can go ahead and talk about that, Ryan.
It says, we're going to pull it real quick for me.
Oh, yeah, right there.
It says, hey, liberals, better get your guns if you try to impeach President Trump from all your deplorables, again, in Calvert County. It's got a bunch of bullet holes all through it. It says, and the bullet holes actually spell out okay. No, I mean, I got a couple other pulled up right here. Again, same billboard, same gentleman owns them. Another one says, hey, liberals, we're back. You enjoyed your 30-day break. We are more worried about legal immigrant children. But if you fund Planned Parenthood and separate the unborn children from their parents, no pity for them, bunch of liberal pigs. And again, he always ends it with, from all your deplorables in Calvert County. Got another one, picture of an AK with the United States in the background. It says, impeach this.
Yeah. The big, bad, ugly gun, right? The one that's going to just jump off the shelf one day and hurt somebody.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, it really is. That's free speech, And this is the thing. I think somebody, Ryan, I think it might have been on your public figure page or in one of the groups or something. But they saw which one was it? I want to make sure I have the right one up.
Probably the most recent one.
Yeah, I think it was this one. Let me make sure that one's up. Yeah. And what they said was something like, what kind of message are you sending? You know what I mean? What kind of message are you sending people by showing that? All you're showing them is sore loser. All you're showing them is this. How are you ever going to do anything better? How are you going to unite the country from the right? And you know what it reminded me of, dude? And I actually put this on the post. Yeah. Raise your hand if you remember President Trump's State of the Union address to the nation, to the joint houses of Congress and the nation, where Nancy Pelosi sat behind him the entire time and at the end ripped up his speech.
Yep.
What kind of message
that send?
What kind of message does that send? What about Maxine Waters when she came out out in Minnesota the other day and said what she said about the Derek Chauvin case? What kind of message does that send? What kind of messages do that send? You know what I mean? Like you can't have a double standard. You really can't. And
if you're a liberal, you can.
Yes, that's right. But one thing you're not, and Ryan and I are asking you guys this, okay? Listen, if you see bias, again, okay, we're going to be a little bit biased here. I mean, we have, but we're trying to be as fair as we can. The right does stupid stuff too. And when we see it, we're going to call it out. Like for instance, Mitt Romney. You remember? Do you know what happened to him this week?
Yeah, where he got booed off the stage at the it was the Utah Republican committee and stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, and he never gets the signal.
No, he never gets the signal.
Honestly, I wasn't paying attention for a little bit. And what I mean by that is he went from being the Massachusetts governor, then the presidential candidate, for the Republican Party back in 2012, and then how did he jump from Massachusetts to fucking Utah?
Well, I'll tell you. Yeah. Utah is, and again, I don't have any facts to support what I'm about to say. All right. But subjectively, Utah is the
Mormon capital of the world.
Well, they don't like to be called Mormons anymore. They're the Latter-day Saints. All right. They don't
Mormons.
Like
is that the new offensive term?
It is for Mormons. Yeah. It came out.
It is for Mormons.
Yeah. It came out a few years ago. One of the presidents of, which is also their prophet, came out a few years ago and said that we're moving away from the term Mormon.
Why?
Don't refer to yourself as a Mormon. I don't know. But they now refer to themselves they've always referred to themselves as the Latter-day Saints, but you can't call Mormons. But anyways, the Utah is basically the capital, if you will, of the Latter-day Saints.
Yeah.
Mitt Romney is a Mormon. He's a Latter-day Saint. His family, actually, most of them are in Mexico, or a lot of them are in Mexico. Yeah. So, and that's a whole nother, we're not going to get into philosophy or ideology or religious dogma on this episode. But, the Mormons were the most recent version of mainstream religion to emerge in the United States. And one of their founding principles was polyamorous relationships. And as state governments began to crack down, some of those religious leaders within that community decided to go to places where it wouldn't be frowned upon. And you saw a lot of them venture down into Mexico. And a lot of Mitt Romney's family is down in Mexico right now. But that's the connection. Again, it's subjective because I don't know for sure. But that's the trail from Mitt Romney to getting into Utah.
Yeah.
But
you think he'll win re-election there, especially with the response he got this past week?
Yeah, I do.
Why?
Because there's it's what happened with Donald Trump in 2016. You got the vocal minority and the silent majority. Right. I think that there's a silent majority of people in Utah that aren't sitting at that convention center that are going to just keep supporting, Mitt Romney. I think it's going to happen. We also got Ms. Cheney, who is being delegated down, voted out of her position in the House currently.
Yeah.
It's either the House or the Senate. I need to make sure I'm smarter on that. But yeah, she's essentially the third. She's the third most powerful Republican, and I think it's the House. And she's getting voted down. She was one of eight, I believe, Republicans that voted on the second impeachment of Donald Trump. So
is she? And this might sound ignorant. Is she any relationship to Dick Cheney?
Yes, she is.
Is that his daughter?
I think so. And that is the political alliance. That's the nepotism that you see in politics.
It's funny how the left hated Dick Cheney, but they love his daughter because she went against Trump.
The only reminder I have 2 reminders of Dick Cheney.
Shooting that guy in the
shooting
ass.
a guy with the shotgun, and then every day I come whenever I drive across a nice bridge and I look over there at the power plant right there and I see the big Cheney Enterprise sign.
I don't think it's spelled the same though.
I think it is. Yeah, it's Cheney.
No. That Cheney, Dick Cheney is Cheney. Cheney Enterprises Chaney.
No, I think the one on Calvert not Cheney Concrete, not Cheney Enterprises here in St. Mary's County.
Those are 2 different companies?
Yes. Yeah. Cheney Enterprises is, I believe, is Dick Cheney. But anyways, maybe it's not.
No, it's not.
No, I know for certain that Cheney Concrete in St. Mary's County is not
right.
Former Vice President Dick Cheney. But I think Dick Cheney is super into the energy industry. And at that energy power plant right there on the bridge.
No, that sign, that flag you saw has to do with the building of the bridge and stuff. I don't think it has to do with the power plant. That's new.
We'll look into that.
Yeah.
We'll look into that. But
I'll look into it when I'm driving to the bridge tonight.
Yeah. Roger that. But hey, guys, that's it for us, man. We cranked it out. Let us know what you think about this. Again, this is new to us. We're trying to do the stream stuff. It's going to become more regular, so make sure you're tuning in on Thursdays at 6 p.m. We'll be kicking off. I know Ryan and I both have, as summer comes upon us, we're going to start venturing out on a couple of family vacations and stuff like that. So we'll keep you guys informed. We'll slide it to the left. We'll do a Wednesday show or even a Tuesday show for that matter. Or you'll see your boy here doing it by myself, just cranking out while Ryan's out. And then, other weeks you'll look at Ryan's ugly mug.
By the way, we're lining up some pretty good interviews. I don't want to say too much, but I'm going to be messaging. I got one. I want to talk to you out of this for real afterwards. He messaged in the other day. You saw about it. You talked to me about it. But I want to talk to you more about it. And we got some good interviews coming up. Like we haven't done one in a while, but we got some good ones coming up.
All right, guys. With that, we're out.
Stay strapped to get clapped. Deplorables.
That's it, baby. Take care, guys.